Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining here. It's a pleasure to meet you all here. Welcome to Inforce 2024. And today we would like to talk about balancing responsible AI, privacy, and data protection on AWS. Imagine an AI world where AI is diagnosing the diseases, streamlining the manufacturing processes, and creating personalized learning content for different users, catering to different geographical markets. So, in terms of the critical aspect of AI, we need to balance and use this thing responsibly. So we are here today covering various trends, practical strategies, key insights, and technical insights, and powered with a demo. And also, we are trying to explain how the key strategies can be translated back in terms of implementation for the board and C-suite leaders and our customers. So let's move forward. So this is a quote by our former CEO, Adam Selipsky. And we have generative AI has the potential to be a powerful tool. And great power comes with great responsibility, and it needs to be used responsibly. And the importance to develop and use it responsibly at AWS, we are committed to providing our customers with the tools and guidance. It is not about creating the best service or best tool. It needs to be powered with the right technology, with the right set of data, and that should be impacting society in a positive way. And to our customers and their customers in a very advantageous and also balanced and equity, not having any kind of discrimination or inequalities. So, and the guidance they need to build for fair and accurate AI applications. It should not have any kind of data which is stale and which is actually not powered with right data sets, and also making sure that the data is transparent for those models to create those services and tools. Let's move further. You're seeing a beautiful family picture here, and the family has 2 kids and a beautiful home behind them. They're laughing and smiling. So, think they have friends and neighbors, right? So both the families, they have a neighbors who are very close friends of them, and then they both applied for a change of location or for a new home. They both have impeccable credit scores, and also they have very good income levels, and they're trying to apply for a home loan. So once they started applying for the home loan, these 2 families are from different ethnic backgrounds. And then one family was at advantage. They're able to get good, fair terms of loan and also higher amount. And the other family is at the disadvantage, and they're denied, or they may not be having the fair terms. It is because the implications around this kind of decision-making happen, the lending organizations, the usage of technology and the models behind it has very unbiased data. The data was not proper, and the data is focused on one particular ethnic group. So the implications here is that you need to have right amount of data, transparency, human validation, and oversight, making such kind of decisions. Or else, these kind of decision-making, the technology-powered decision-making, might lead to losing your valuable customer base, or you're not able to penetrate into different geographies, or you're not catering to the right amount of customers going further. So that's why it's very important. If you look at the trends from 2023 to 2027, based on UNESCO, Tech Monitor, and McKinsey, all these various researchers, they covered that 2023, you are seeing $150 billion investment, which is progressively going to 200% increase in 2027, around $450 billion investment in the area of responsible AI. So what are the areas? The shift is from 2023 is fundamentally in security, safety, and also from trust and privacy. They're shifting towards establishing governance, readiness assessments, heavily inducing human oversight, testing, and validation, and also moving towards in the future for integrating this governance zones practices, participating in regulatory communities, and creating governance advisory boards, and integrating yourselves into like IT budgets. Every organization will start focusing, allocating certain amount of budgets, integrating with your IT strategies and your plans and roadmaps into the future. So that's why it is very important to bring a positive impact on the society. It is not about building the technology or the service, and like best of the tool. It's also about keeping the impact you're creating on the society and the data you're trying to procure and the amount of source, all the comprehensive information you're gathering to make that right decisions. Are we doing right amount of thing to impact the socioeconomic factors in the society as possible? So let's move further. The principles of responsible AI. As I was explaining earlier, it is all about transparency and explainability, fairness and non-discrimination. Any decision the model is trying to create, the data should be fair, the data should have right amount of values, right amount of ranking, and the algorithm's transparency. And the data should be passed with, like, you don't want to put social security numbers or personal PI information or sensitive data. Those kind of things should be passed. And you also need to cater all these principles you're seeing, ethical considerations and human values, safety and robustness, making sure that you're including every single ethnic group possible in each and every industry. Let's say it might be financial sector, manufacturing sector, autonomous vehicle sector, or any industry for that matter, even inclusive of entertainment. So these are the fundamentals. Using that fundamentals, how we are trying to implement the responsible AI practices at AWS is, if you can look at the milestone here, from 2017, we come up with 2 new services called Amazon Recognition and Amazon Transcribe. And 2019, we came up with Code Guru to improve the productivity, AI service to automate code reviews. And also we came in 2020, we started focusing on governance and developing governance policies and practices and publishing the responsible AI white paper, and then launching governance frameworks in 2022. 2023, we introduced governance zones and secure environments for AI workloads. In 2024, the most interesting thing is we started aligning with the industry partners and regulatory bodies, and also we started creating, we are working on creating data protection certification for our partners when dealing with their customers. Let's move further. So it's not only about we saying about, okay, these are the principles of responsible AI. We are also trying to mention that we are embedding these particular principles as part of our policies and frameworks. That's where this AWS responsible policy covers, prohibits disinformation, illegal tracking, and weaponization, and also mandates human oversight and risk evaluation, enforces transparency, and provides guidance. In our every application, every tool, every service we design, every process we make sure all these attributes are falling in place or followed sincerely and validated by humans, constantly testing and launched each and every service in a very vigilant way. That's why we have Security Guardians program, we have Security Sentinels program, we have many programs to make sure that every service is embedded with this particular factors into that foster trust, transparency, and ethical innovation by outlining clear prohibitions. It is not only about innovation, it is about balancing innovation with integrity and privacy and protecting the data of the consumer with the right amount of consent while developing these services. Let's move further. So now we saw the principles, we saw the responsible AI policy. Now, how is that policy is embedded into the entire life cycle inside AWS? So if you look at it, ethics of AI decision making from the comprehensive framework side, like we make sure we have stakeholder engagement and ethical oversight. As I was mentioning, we don't make decisions on the fly. We actually approach the industry leaders, advisory board. We also reach out to many other experts in the field, try to understand various opinions in the market and gather this information to make these vital decisions in building those services. So, and the second one, if you look at the AI governance framework, we have a umbrella overarching processes. Like anytime we build any kind of software code or technology or service, we make sure that that is particularly underwent various stages in terms of testing and validation and launching and reversing. We take two-way door decisions instead of one-way door decision making. So moving further, secure AI lifecycle on AWS. We take care of endpoints. We make sure that the infrastructure is solid. We make sure that we have right amount of security is built into the place, like data anonymization, data de-identification, and we also make sure that this is following the right amount of security in terms of implementing this service in a proper way, and the outcomes are measured. So this is the comprehensive framework of AI on AWS. So if you see that the most important critical thing I was mentioning about how AWS is involved in stakeholder engagement, we value our customers, we work backwards with them, we listen to their feedback. So we have customer advisory councils. It can be LOFs. It can be summits like this, or Reinforce, or reInvent. We collect various opinions and feedbacks. And we also have executive briefing centers to collect their pain points. And then we have academic partnerships. We tie up with universities to collect the data. And then we also have a policy engagement team specifically created for making the right set of policies, talking to regulatory bodies. And we also have very efficient partner ecosystem based on the tiering levels, and we try to collect all this information, understanding various issues from them, the feedback. We don't just listen, we implement. And then coming to the public outreach, we have different ways we reach the public in terms of public sector summits or teaching them through LOFs. So there are various ways we reach them in terms of understanding the customers. So that's why I highlighted stakeholder involvement. We are inclusive and diversified in collecting these opinions. Okay, now it's all about building trust. So I know customers have this, one of the pain point we see constantly, hey, I have built this content and I wanted to post it on the internet. I don't know whether my content has PI information, PHI information, or if I post this thing, what are the implications, what is the cost it might incur for my organization, or I wanted to do something for fun by posting on the online. Maybe it's a news article or anything. Or in the organization, you have some content you wanted to share with someone within another business unit, or you wanted to make sure you are diligently and vigilantly testing that information that you are not actually exposing any kind of PII data. Then we have a demo, very fun-oriented demo, which is actually created on a Party Rock powered by Bedrock. We used different types of models are enabled over there. We used one of the model, and then we created something called Privacy Nexus demo. So let's proceed further, and then this is a 5-minute demo, and then I'll go ahead. We don't want to give the handouts. It's just a 5-minute watch video.
Nexus generative AI application.
I cannot hear the
It is a
voice.
cutting-edge lightweight application powered by Amazon Bedrock. Bedrock is a fully managed service that offers a selection of high-performance foundation models from leading AI companies. So you're seeing Privacy Nexus lightweight application here, and this is going to help you to enable robust control over personal data within the AWS environment, providing essential identification and protection guidance for your data. So you can see the application description, what exactly this application is trying to do, and the definitions of both PII and PHI data. And we have a PII scanner where we can actually provide URLs, text, news feeds, and also any data you think that you want to share externally or internally that can be shared here to understand what kind of PII and PHI information is part of that content. So now let's proceed with this example. Like I already created a dummy data of PII information, and I'm sharing it here to see the outputs. So now you can see on the right-hand side, the PII risks are getting populated with all the risk assessment related to the estimation value of the damage, and the number of records are exposed as part of this data are 40, and it is showing the exact number as 40. And what kind of information like last name, social security numbers, and credit card numbers, and business impact of PII vulnerabilities, risks, and threats, and then financial value and damage and legal fines in relationship with regulations and frameworks, what kind of risks involved in this thing is provided here from related personal data and threats and data breaches. And also based on the above violations, the recommendations are provided here, and how we can remediate this by leveraging AWS Cloud Platform. So it started selecting in the left-hand side, you can see the PII advisor on AWS. In regard to the PII risk assessment, you're seeing on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, it is picking up all the relevant AWS security services for you to leverage and implement in your architecture. So even further, if we move forward, we can also see it's not only about identifying the right security services, it will provide you various strategies about how do you protect that PII information using, for example, data encryption with the AWS KMS for data in transit and in rest, how you can enable on different services with Python SDK for AWS, which is Boto3 framework, and that can be used and access control policies, logging and monitoring samples. Technical details are provided here for your understanding from data masking and tokenization, network security components. So these things can be leveraged into your architecture to protect the PII data. So along with this, all the benefits, we also have a AWS Privacy Expert chatbot here. So if you have any questions related to the technical details you're looking for implementing, enabling these services on your platform, or implementing any kind of Lambda functions, or you wanted to troubleshoot some kind of solutions, you can actually go ahead and ask the questions in this chatbot for you further help. And I already created a sample question here as a prompt, and then let's enter this thing. Is we are trying to ask the chatbot how much does it cost a company unintended exposure of a PII record. So we would like to learn, okay, by exposing this personal data as part of the data which I shared, let's say how much it is going to cost an organization just by exposing or through unintended exposure of one personal record, right? So the estimate, it will populate the estimated cost. We are seeing here, it might incur the organization notification costs, credit monitoring services, and legal fees and regulatory fines, loss in business revenue. So it is telling from the credit monitoring services, the victims, they need to pay 1 to 2 years after a breach, which can cost around $10 to $30 per person. And for increased security costs, and overall, based on various breaches and exposures, we have $150 to $200 per record is expected out of like any exposure of the PII information. So it can be unintended, or it can be without your interference. Sometimes this data can be actually populated. But however, we will understand the intensity of the exposure through this privacy expert chatbot. So, and also it gives you an imaginary fun-oriented image based on the data you're providing. So you can see privacy nexus image as an output here. So thanks for joining this demo, and wish you successful learning going further. Have a nice day.
Thank you all. I would like to hand over this thing to Tracy Hickey.
Hit the green button. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to come in a little bit and talk about some responsible AI in practice. You can see there are a bunch of different orgs and services that we have. So healthcare, you can have AI-assisted diagnoses. Finance, ethical credit scoring, like we talked about earlier with the home loan opportunities. Recruitment, unbiased hiring, making sure that you don't have any biases in the interviews that you're scheduling, the recruiting methods that you have. Transportation, autonomous vehicle safety, making sure all these self-driving vehicles are operating as we expect them to. You know, e-commerce, you've got the responsible product recommendations, making sure that you're giving recommendations to your sellers or your different customers for products that they're going to use that makes sense for them. And then social media, content moderation. So we want to reduce errors in diagnostics, remove discrimination, make sure we're redacting PII, that pedestrian risk for self-driving cars. No one wants to hit people. We want to make sure everyone's safe, both inside and outside the vehicle. Recommendation engines for the right suggestions on items, AI filters, detect and remove hate speech from social media. All of these are different options and opportunities for using AI responsibly. And we've got different services like Recognition, SageMaker, Comprehend, IoT Greengrass, Personalize. All of these work together to help you build responsible AI products that are going to both maintain customer trust with your other internal customers and external customers as well. We've also got some of the top ethical AI considerations for all of your board members. So you want to make sure you've got fairness and non-discrimination, transparency and explainability, privacy and data protection, human oversight. You always have to have that human element to make sure that we're doing this AI mechanisms responsibly and that we're not just letting the computer generate things that could potentially produce bad outcomes. Robustness and security, ethical principles and values, accountability and responsibility. To me, accountability and responsibility is one of the hugest pieces because we want to make sure we're doing things correctly for our customers. We have also got the implementation roadmap. We've got, AI ethics governance, integrating ethics into life cycles, fostering an ethical AI culture. We also want to make sure we've got continuous improvement. Nothing is ever a set it and forget it. There's always maintenance and improvements that can happen. Enabling the human oversight. We want to make sure we have secure and governed data. We're focusing on responsible AI mechanisms as we build. We're empowering and training our teams on the right ways to accomplish things, and we're establishing that continuous monitoring and AI culture.
Thank you.